The team concedes 4, or is it just one of those games?
Of course, Liverpool have showed how it can be done. Other teams need to do it different ways, obviously, but this is Klopp's way, and it's effective. But you know, they pressed and pressed, but I've got such admiration for Manchester City. 4-1 down, they still played the same way, took the same risks. Could have got beat 7 or 8-1, but instead could have made it 4-4. That's courage from both sets of coaches.
And the errors, did they come from simply the fact that that's the way they play, and sometimes that's going to happen to you?
The errors were not unforced errors. They were forced errors. Forced by Liverpool, their discipline, their pressing, the opponent. They forced the mistakes. And that's what, you know, to allow Manchester City possession and to play, you're not forcing them errors, or you're forcing... That's what the top coaches have, you know. That's why, you saw it yesterday, that's why, you know, this game in the Premier League is employing foreign coaches, because they have the courage to go out, one, to play like that in possession and risk, and two, in Klopp's way, to actually press opponents very high up and leave a lot of space behind you. But both are effective, and that's what our coaches need to look at and need to learn from.
Yeah. Well, it was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain who set Liverpool on the way with his opener. Hell of a strike, this one, wasn't it? So, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, let's have a look at him and how he's come on this season for Liverpool. It's 8 starts, 912 minutes played, 3 goals, 3 assists, 20 chances created for him since his move to Liverpool. So he was enjoying himself out there yesterday, and a huge vote of confidence for him to be picked in this game. How impressed are you, Steve, with his recent development?
Well, I was very surprised that that Liverpool took him. I looked at him at Arsenal, and he was a bit part player, in and out, played on the right, played on the left. I think the emergence of him actually was when Arsene Wenger put him as wing-back. And it showed that he had the discipline to do the job. He's disciplined, he's an athlete, he works up and down the field, he's got great ability and technique, he can beat players, and that is an ideal, you know, when you're looking at philosophies and what Klopp's philosophy is, that's the kind of player that Liverpool are bringing in. Athletic, disciplined, can beat players, are quick, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, he proved that yesterday. The way he scored that goal, won the second ball, but then beat players. And to beat Manchester City, you have to have players that beat players, and Liverpool had them all over the field, and especially Oxlade-Chamberlain in the first goal. Win the second ball, glided by Fernandinho, and the ability to finish as well.
Any team would be poorer without a talent of Philippe Coutinho, but from what you saw yesterday, can they cover that up? They've got the riches, have they, to be successful without him?
You imagine if they had him, because there's another great example of taking a player, Coutinho, and moulding him in the Liverpool philosophy. So he worked as hard off the ball as he does on the ball. They've lost him. They've just shown with the front three that they played yesterday, Salah, Firmino and Sane, that they've got the equipment and the front players to do that. Can they do it all season? I think they need backup. They'll miss Coutinho in that. They may sign somebody else, I don't know, but any team, anybody would miss Coutinho.
Now it's another defeat for Arsenal. So what's gone wrong for Arsenal? Now, Arsene Wenger has revealed Alexis Sanchez will be out of Arsenal within the next couple of days. Sanchez was not included in the matchday squad for the defeat to Bournemouth yesterday, which leaves the club 8 points off the top 4. So no Sanchez, and this was Arsene Wenger's explanation before kick-off.
He's been vague at the moment, you know, the situation is not completely decided one way or the other, so I left him at home.
Arsenal very nearly scored just a few minutes in. Ainsley Maitland-Niles hit the crossbar. Danny Welbeck had a chance too. His effort blocked by Asmir Begovic. Before a big shout for a Bournemouth penalty.
Bournemouth adamant there was a hand in there. The elbow does seem to go towards it. It's a really crowded box.
Bournemouth nearly had the opening minutes before the break. Ryan Fraser denied by Callum Chambers. But just after half-time, it was Arsenal who got the breakthrough.
Saved by Begovic, or is it? He did his best, Begovic, but he couldn't keep it out. And Hector Bellerin draws first blood here.
But with 20 minutes to go, Bournemouth back in it.
Fraser, delightful ball.
They've got to be better out of possession, which is, you know, exactly why we talked about the Liverpool game and against Man City yesterday. You know, both teams out of possession being very, very good and causing mistakes also in possession. So Arsenal need to address that, and they haven't done that. The defenders are not good enough. They're not keeping clean sheets. When you think of the old back four of Arsenal, they would never concede goals like they are at the present moment. Are they pressing and working hard enough up front to regain the ball higher up and to press teams? Not really. So they're an in-between at the moment where on any day Arsenal can beat you and beat you well. Any other day, any team can beat them because they're poor when they don't have the ball.
So no Sanchez, as we said, in the Arsenal squad.
Now, will Alexis Sanchez still be an Arsenal player at the end of the day? Arsene Wenger says the decision on his future could be made in the next 48 hours. This is Transfer Centre. Now, will it be Manchester City or Manchester United who get their man? Will Henrik Mikhitaryan be a replacement for Sanchez? We'll update you on his link to Arsenal. And those Andy Carroll links to Chelsea just won't go away. More on that deal coming up.
Only one place to start today, and of course that is with Alexis Sanchez. Now this is what is happening. Manchester United now leading the race to sign him. United confident they have the right package in place to satisfy Arsenal and Sanchez. United happy to pay the £35 million asking price and crucially £5 million to agents. Now if Sanchez joins United, he'd earn more than £350,000 a week. Where does that leave Manchester City? They almost signed Sanchez for £60 million last deadline day. This time round, they're not willing to pay more than £20 million for a player they can get free in the summer. And they're not willing to pay Sanchez more than players like Kevin De Bruyne. We're told by one source that City have pretty much given up on Sanchez already.
Squad we have, I don't know what's going to happen in this transfer window. And we have to finish with that players we're going to finish. If we can buy someone because we have 4 competitions, a lot of games, and we're going to try.
Look, if Sanchez goes, we need to replace him. You know, must say when you look at today, we missed many players in our squad, and you see that they have a weight. If players like Sanchez go, we have of course to respond to it. Will he go or not? I don't know.
End up where he wants to go. He will have had conversations behind the scenes, even probably with Manchester City in the summer and for many months, keeping in touch with each other. And he will know which manager he wants to play for, which manager will give him the best chance of developing as a player and winning trophies. He's got a good option and a good choice. If he wants Man City, I think because they won't pay, he may have to wait until the summer, therefore he will stay at Arsenal. If he gets on with and he wants to work with Jose Mourinho, then he will go to Manchester United straight away.
Which manager will develop him better then, do you think?
I think both will, in their own way. I think both managers will want him. Wow, to have a Sanchez in your team will improve your team 20–25%. So, and I think both managers have track records of improving players. So Sanchez is in the ideal situation, and he will go where he wants to go, when he wants to go.
Are you surprised it's just these two, that Liverpool perhaps aren't in the market, Chelsea perhaps aren't in the market?
Yeah, I can see that, but I think it's just everybody knows in football behind the scenes there'll be a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversations, and if it's the usual route, he will have spoke with Mourinho, he will have spoke with Klopp, all the interested parties, and he will have decided that one, or I'll wait.
Yeah, Liverpool, talking of which, they managed to get that Coutinho one done, dusted, out the way. And so it wasn't hanging over them. Is there a feeling that perhaps Arsenal, it's got to this point now, they've just got to get this done?
Yes and no. For me, as a manager, I wouldn't want to lose him. But it's a club decision, I think, now. I think it's got to be taken out of his hands, and it's a club decision. Do they take the money now because they'll get nothing in the summer, or do they keep the player because they might get, with Sanchez, into the top 4? And what replacement have we got to come in? Because out there aren't many Sanchez's about.
No. How much then, having heard what you said, is this a disruption for the player, for the manager? We heard Arsene Wenger talking there about a player who wasn't even at Bournemouth.
You don't win football matches without stability in your club. These transfer windows provide an ideal opportunity for people inside and outside to destabilise you, and therefore that causes chaos. Chaos, you get no success, you won't win football matches. And that's what's happening with Arsenal at the present moment. There's too much speculation. Let's get it done. As Arsene Wenger said, 48 hours, 20 already gone. He's got some hours left to resolve the situation and get some stability back into the football club.
One of the reasons Arsenal would prefer Sanchez to go to United instead of City is Henrik Mikhitaryan. We're told United are willing to let Mikhitaryan go to Arsenal as part of the Sanchez deal, and Arsene Wenger, crucially, is a big fan of the attacking midfielder. Arsenal tried to sign him before he joined United from Borussia Dortmund for about £30 million.
Well, all parties won't exactly all be happy. Would this be a good compromise for Arsenal? Where would he fit in?
He can play in various positions, left, right, number 10. He's a player who can score, who can assist. I'm very surprised because I thought after a slow start, he'd moved into the Manchester United team and was performing well, scoring goals and assisting. So I don't know what's happened behind the scenes. As always, Manchester United, you never quite know what's going on between Jose and the player, but he's obviously a player that is up for bargaining.
Of course, Sanchez is not the only player who's set to leave Arsenal this month. Everton and Southampton in talks to sign Theo Walcott. He hasn't started a league game for 9 months, and he needs to be playing regularly to have any chance of getting back into the England squad for the World Cup. Walcott valued at £20 million.
Theo Walcott, I mean, you talked about managers improving players in Alexis Sanchez. Theo Walcott will be looking at Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Wolfsburg yesterday because he missed a team meeting on Saturday. Aubamayeng is one of the most prolific strikers in world football, and he has been unhappy at Dortmund for some time. Chinese champions Guangzhou Evergrande are long-term admirers of him. Staying at Arsenal, and they're still very interested in signing Johnny Evans. They're looking for defensive reinforcements. One of their top targets is Evans. West Brom have not received any official offers, but Arsenal and Manchester City are interested. West Brom manager Alan Pardew will only let Evans go if he can bring in a replacement.
Mikhitaryan, Malcolm, Aubamayeng at the back, Johnny Evans, plenty of names. Who should Arsenal be bringing in?
All quality players, and if they can get the lot of them, buy the lot of them, because they will improve Arsenal no end. They need, if they lose Sanchez, Ozil will probably stay in. They need a replacement for Sanchez, someone on that left or the right. But for me, Johnny Evans has been mentioned there. Great player. Also a player who needs to go to the next level to develop himself. Arsenal will be the perfect fit for him. And Arsenal need defenders, and they need good defenders.
OK, big question marks about the future of Marouane Fellaini at Manchester United. Now, he's out of contract in the summer, and Besiktas very, very keen to set up a deal. They have money to spend after selling Cenk Tosun to Everton for £27 million. West Ham manager David Moyes also interested. He's, of course, worked with Fellaini at Everton and Manchester United. Staying at Manchester United, and the latest on Lucas Moura. Now, if they sign Sanchez, then that will end their interest in Moura. He expects to leave PSG this month, and he's hinted that he'd be interested in a move to England. PSG beat Manchester United to sign the Brazilian from Sao Paulo in 2013.
Now, where could the long-term future of David De Gea lie? The Manchester United goalkeeper is out of contract at the end of next season, but the club have the option of extending that until 2020. So what is the latest?
It's obvious that we are not going to let the option disappear. A goalkeeper like he is, obviously a club that wants to be better and better and better, we are not going to let that option go away. Of course, he's going to try to give him a contract that keeps him here for much more than that option that, of course, we are going to execute.
Steve, how crucial is he to United's chances of success? But the problem is, I mean, you can extend it by another year, couldn't you? But his values will still keep going down the closer to the end of his contract it goes, isn't it? And if he wants to go, you could end up in Alexis Sanchez territory if you're not careful.
They need to keep him. He's the difference. Goalkeepers, if you want to be successful, you have to have a damn good goalkeeper. And De Gea is, for me, the best in the Premier League, if not the world. He makes remarkable saves. He wins Manchester United points, and that's the key thing. He makes saves. Everybody's talking about goalkeepers. Yeah, good with the feet, good with this, good with that, and needs to be this, he needs to keep the ball out of the net, and there's no one better in the Premier League at keeping the ball out of the net than De Gea.
OK, Liverpool have been trying to bring in Naby Keita, but RB Leipzig insisting that he's going to stay with them until the summer. Keita will move to Anfield in July in a deal worth more than £66 million. Now, what does Keita think about Leipzig's refusal to let him join Liverpool now? Well, he didn't celebrate scoring against Schalke on Saturday. Staying with Liverpool, and the latest on Leon Goretzka, one of the most sought-after players in world football at the moment. And Liverpool haven't totally given up on signing him. His Schalke contract runs. The Mexican international has fallen below the likes of Marco Arnautovic and Manuel Lanzini in the forward positions. MLS club Los Angeles City are keen, but we've been told Hernandez would prefer to stay in England. He was an unused sub at Huddersfield on Saturday.
Looks like it's going to be a busy window for West Ham, doesn't it? Is that what you see there?
Yeah, I think, you know, that's what happens in January. If you're a top club, exceptional players come in, you buy one of them if they're available. If you're just a new manager and you're looking to your philosophy, your players, which David Moyes is doing, then you're looking at that. Others is injuries to fill in, which Crystal Palace are looking at. So Moyes is looking to do business. Looks for sure.
From Chelsea. The latest information we have on that is that West Ham remain keen on getting back Shuey. Of course, they almost signed him before he decided to move to Chelsea. But at the moment, Spanish club Sevilla getting increasingly confident that they can sign back Shuey on loan.
We shall see. Intriguing, isn't it? What about Chelsea's main striker at the moment, Alvaro Morata? He didn't even have a shot against Everton in the first 12 games of the season compared to the last 11. He scored 8 goals compared to 2. That's one every 101.5 minutes compared to 355. Lower shot conversion rate and shooting accuracy as well. It was a bright start to the season then for Alvaro Morata. But he just seems to have gone off the boil. And given Morata's form and Batshuayi's lack of impact, Steve, do Chelsea need to make a striker priority? Would Carroll be the one that you would select?
Well, not necessarily Carroll, but I think they need a talisman up there. They lost Costa, and they've not replaced him. They've replaced him with Morata, who scores goals, but he's not Costa. He's not back to goal. He's not holding the play up. He's not bringing other players. And Costa was last season the focal point. We talked about Kane at Tottenham being the focal point. Chelsea built their team around Costa. I don't think at the present moment Chelsea can build their team around Morata.
OK, Roy Hodgson is looking for a striker and a keeper at Crystal Palace. Let's start with strikers. One of their top targets is Fiorentina's Kuma Babacar. Fiorentina want £15 million and talks are underway. Babacar has spent most of the season on the Fiorentina bench, but he has managed to score 4 times and he's been watched by West Ham and West Brom. Another striker Crystal Palace are interested in is Moussa Dembele. He has 2.5 years left on his Celtic contract and would cost about £20 million. We've been told no bid has been made yet. Staying at Crystal Palace, another player there in talk is Ibrahim Amadou. He's the Lille captain. Talks have been held about a loan deal, but Lille wants a permanent move because they need to raise money to comply with financial fair play rules. Palace tried to sign Amadou for £15 million when Sam Allardyce was at the club. Amadou, defensive midfielder who can also play as a centre-back. Crystal Palace will almost certainly sign a goalkeeper this month as well. The latest on their attempts to sign Vicente Guaita at Getafe. He wants to move to Palace, but Getafe have not been easy to deal with at the moment. Another option for Crystal Palace is one of the standout goalkeepers in the Championship at the moment at Ipswich Town, Bartosz Białkowski. He didn't play for Ipswich against Leeds on Saturday. That's the first league game he's missed this season.
OK, let's bring you some breaking news. It's a sort of transfer because there's a new transfer as far as a manager is concerned. Paul Lambert, we're hearing from Sky sources, is to take over as the new manager of Stoke City and will be given a large bonus, we're being told, if he keeps them up. It's a short-term deal, and we're just trying to establish whether that is just until the end of the season. Let's get immediate reaction from Steve. What do you make of that news?
Yeah, I think looking at Stoke's situation, they've tried for long-term, and now they just have to stabilise the club and make sure that they stay in the Premier League. That's their sole intention, and they've obviously taken Paul Lambert to achieve that.
So what particular problems does that cause for a manager, just going in the short term, just trying to keep a club's head above water?
Fantastic. You know the job, you know what it's about, you know the squad, a couple of weeks to do some business if they can. It's just a case of, it's a great job to go into. You're working for 4 or 5 months, you know what the objective is. You have to work with the players, get the players, do a lot of coaching on the field, get them winning football matches. Simple.
Simple. So what's his first thing he needs to sort out then? What's in his inbox?
Obviously observe the game tonight, look at the squad, assess it very quickly, and just get Stoke back to what they were before. A very difficult side to play against who can win football matches.
The whole objective here is for them to stay up. Can he do that, or is it looking like a tough job?
No. With that squad? Oh, most definitely. They should be in the bottom 3. They got potential to move up the league, and I would fully expect if the club come together, the team come together, he can get them working together, they'll do that.
Where does he need to strengthen?
I think he has to assess the squad. I think he has to also talk a lot to the club because they will know inside what needs. But they've struggled, I think, striker-wise in terms of goals. They may need that. But they may need, I think they've a good squad. They just need an injection and probably a different voice, a different face, a different philosophy, way of playing. Mark Hughes has done a fantastic job there for 4 or 5 years. Now it's for Paul Lambert to take for 4 or 5 months.
OK. Just to recap that news, Sky sources are telling us that Paul Lambert is to be appointed as Stoke manager. We're just waiting to find out the details of that. It looks like it's going to be short-term till the end of the season. There'll be a sort of big bonus if he keeps them up, where he keeps that at full time. So that's the latest on that one. We'll have more on that coming up. But next, we look over at the weekend's big incidents with Dermot Gallagher.
For me, Stones has got to be stronger.